Hello and welcome to another Back Intelligence video. My name is Leon, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can garden without throwing out your back, okay? And you can see my gardening tool here is ready to go. And you see my gardening area over here. That's all I got here in the studio. I just got a plant representation of a garden, okay? I'm not a gardener myself, but I know a lot of people love it. It's a great hobby. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure you do so, as well as like and share this video with someone else. So let's get started right away. So first of all, let's define what is the problem with gardening for the back. Well, a lot of people round their backs and spend a huge amount of time doing something like this, you know? And it's stressing out their back, you know? If you've seen any of our videos or if you know anything about spine health, you want to not round your back in this way, because that puts a lot of pressure on your discs. It puts a lot of pressure on your muscles in the low back and the neck area. It's just bad for your posture overall. And so when you're gardening like this for, hours at a time, it can cause you a lot of problems. So a lot of people who garden, they have back problems, okay? But because you're watching this channel, because you're more aware than the average person, you're not gonna be one of those people, right? So, first thing, and you might have already known this, you want to keep your spine at a neutral position. So the first position that you wanna get into, if you have to do something like this, again, this is just representation of my gardening tool. You can pretend that this is a rake or something. Okay, and this, you can pretend there's grass here and hills or something. Anyway, this is my gardening representation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hinge from my hips, okay? So instead of rounding like this and doing everything like that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot my hips back. So take your palms like this, go where the hip area is and kind of push your hips back. So the butt will go back, and you can see my spine remains neutral. So I'm really just moving from my hips, okay? I'm hinging from my hips. I've done a tutorial on hip hinging, a full tutorial. There's gonna be a link to it somewhere here, or you can find it on our YouTube channel. It's called hip hinging, or how to hip hinge properly. So you can watch that for that, okay? But basically I'm hip hinging, and then I can do whatever I want this way. This is already much better for your back, your spine, and your posture. So that's the first position. But now let's say you gotta go lower or something like that, because the hip hinge, it has its limitations, still going like this. If you gotta go really low here, it's tough to be in the squatted position, okay? So the second position you can get into is you can kneel, okay? What I'm gonna do right now is, again, just gonna kneel and then work this way. Again, my back stays pretty much in a neutral position here, so that's good. I would say you also wanna just vary the positions in general, okay? You never wanna stay in one position for too long anyway, okay? So from here, if I'm kneeling and I'm working, I'm doing whatever I need to do, the next position you can work from is, you can also go like this. You can even sit back on your hips, see if you can do things this way, okay? That's another position. I would still call this a kneeling position of some sort, okay? So hopefully, especially if it's a little bit higher here, this is perfect to work on in this area, in this position, or in the kneeling position if it's higher up. Again, lower, it's a little bit harder. And that's why we're gonna go into the third tip, or the third position, which is going to be, so let's say you gotta really get there. I'm gonna put one hand here. So you can see from this kneeling position, just gonna bring my arm to the side. You can see I still maintain my spine pretty neutral so that I can work like this, okay? So this is another thing you can do, okay? So instead of being like this, which is not good for you, you're going this way. So just having that arm for support, keeping in mind that your spine stays more neutral, you're not rounding it, you're not overly arching it either. That's going to be Also a great position for you to garden in. Now, one more tip here. This isn't so much a position. It's more about like the tool or the area you're working from. Don't have it too far away from your body, okay? So you're not reaching too much. Okay, so for example, if this is a very heavy rake or a heavy tool that you're using, if it's kind of like here, that's gonna put more pressure on my low back muscles and on my arm, on my shoulders, and it just creates more load. But if if the tool is closer to me, so if the object or the load, okay, or the weight is closer to your body, it's gonna be easier, okay? So if you're working like this and it's a heavy object, that's gonna put more pressure on your spine in general than if it's closer to you, okay? So try to have the object you're working with a little bit closer to your body, especially if it has weight to it, okay? Now, one more tip here, and this is the last one, is you want to avoid too much of twisting unnecessarily. So if you don't have to twist, don't twist, okay? So let's say I'm working here and I've got a bunch of stuff I gotta move from here to here. If I'm constant, or let's say it's actually behind me, this is gonna be better. So let's say I have to come here to bring something over here, throw dirt around or something like that, or move bulbs or whatever it's called. If you constantly have to twist like that, like we know that twisting can be problematic, especially if your spine is in a flexed and twisted position. That can be problematic for your spine. So in general, what you could do is you can give yourself some breaks. So first of all, if you can move the object to be in front of you here, now you're working this way, you don't have to twist so much. Or move your whole body, pick it up, bring it in, okay? Move your whole body, bring it in, instead of constantly having to twist, okay? And especially it gets worse when you're in this position, twisting like that, when you're bent over, okay? So that is the last tip. I hope you liked it. Leave a comment below if you can relate to it. Leave a comment below if you're gonna be using some of these tips, or if you've got other tips for gardening that help your spine. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe to this video, and if you'd like to get a PDF of free core exercises, research has shown that in order to protect your back, you need to strengthen your core area, but it's important that you do the right type of core exercises that are safe for your spine and are actually effective. So we do have a free PDF we'd love to send you of core exercises that you can get. There's gonna be a link to get that PDF somewhere here on the video or down below in the description. Just go to that page, enter your email, and we'll send you that PDF for free.